Hello and welcome to Faculty Chat, our chat with the faculty of the Srishti Manipal Institute of Art, Design and Technology in Bangalore. Today we have with us Farhat. Farhat, share with us what you do at SMI.
Okay, hi. I teach core courses in creative education as well as electives, general studies, foundation, and also in undergrad. And also I'm also a researcher, educational researcher. So I also kind of write papers on the meaningful classroom experiences. So I write about that as well.
I was just going over some of the stuff you've done, and there's a really interesting 7th semester project that you sort of handled and facilitated. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I'm fascinated about science learning and science education. And I try to bring science everywhere, like life science, especially biology. And I did this unit with Sonali, and Sonali is comes from VCSB background, and I was in that project, and we were looking at how to integrate biology with visualization. And the project actually kind of was, biology was a springboard which was looking at ideas for visualization. And so this was an interesting project where biology stood as inspiration.
You actually created a world where we are so close to microbes, and you brought that out visually. I thought that was quite fascinating. Tell us a little bit about that process, because we tend to look at microbes as things that are not good for us, and yet we live so closely with them and very close to our bodies and environment. And I thought you captured it visually quite dramatically. Yeah. Tell us a little bit about that process.
Yeah, I think I got really also fascinated with microbes when I was working with Vyas in the 8th semester project, and saw that you could actually build microscopes with your own hand. And that was fascinating, and I started experimenting it myself and started to use that as an opportunity to look at these small creatures and critters in ponds, and started to look at with your own handheld and your own made microscopes. So that was fascinating even for students, because it fascinated me, and they also got excited looking at these little creatures under the microscope and building their own. I just did a unit. I'm coming from my class where they've done a microscope made a microscope using webcam. So the fascinating part was to really see that you can see all these little creatures which are invisible to your eyes, and something which makes part of your body more than so if you look at human body, it's 10 times microbes are more than your own cells. So we have more microbes than actually human. So, and that fascinated even my students to look at some things from our own bodies. We looked at our samples from our plaque and looked at that of the microscopes, and see how we could actually visualize them, and see using creative processes as well as more technical drawings.
What, according to you, is unique about learning and facilitating learning and teaching and understanding in SMI that makes us different to everybody else? Are we different to everybody else?
I think we are, yes, definitely. I think what I have seen, and I also try to facilitate and also learn from others who are actual professional designers over here, is to look at, I have seen that studios are very, more like quasi-professional, where students are actually learning, making things, and also applying their learning as they go about, which you do not see in other spaces or other courses outside of Srishti, because they get a chance to really reflect on their learning and apply it, which is a very professional space, right? I mean, you see that. I think that is the strength of Srishti, which kind of brings in.
Is there something, I noticed that when you did your thesis, it was the best thesis of that year. Tell us a little bit about that.
My research was more on looking at bringing design and technology education for middle school children. So how could we use design thinking in schools? And because if you look at humanity, we have science education, we have humanities and arts in schools, but design is something which is a different way of thinking and looking at world. So why not have that as well in our school education? So that was the thing that I was looking at in my and it also gets, design also allows you to integrate a lot of other disciplines which you have, say STEM education, STEAM education, and design and technology is actually a subject which is there across many countries.
One last question. I'm asking everybody this: a story, an anecdote, something about an alumni that makes you feel that what you do is worthwhile and exciting here at SMI.
Yeah, I think what I've personally fulfilling for me is to see some of the students actually taking biology and doing something on that with respect to design and in that area. Right now, I do not remember at this point of time. Students have been writing to me for recommendations. Definitely, after 2-3 years, definitely they have been like, I get accused of students writing, "Hey Farhat, can you recommend us to this university?" Yeah, definitely. I have been writing recommendations a lot for students. Yeah.
Farhat, thank you very much for
Thank you so
joining
much.
us.
Yeah.
Thank you.